Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with Jones Fan TV, man. Back after another video. Like the content in the video, go smash that like button. The content in this channel. Go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so back after a long break, honestly. I just want to talk about Ravens football, right? I didn't want to talk about any of the, gossipy kind of news and things like that. That kind of stuff doesn't really interest me. Maybe in the future I'll talk about it more often, but I didn't want to talk about guys like Mark Schlereth questioning whether Lamar is a top tier quarterback, questioning, is it his job to develop wide receivers when we don't ask other quarterbacks to do that? So I don't want to make a videos about things like that, right? I want to talk about Ravens football. But one thing I will mention before I get into that is that, RIP Jacoby Jones, Ravens legend, only a Raven for a couple of years, but he had such a memorable impact in that short period of time. But so I wouldn't feel right without starting. That's what I was mentioning. RIP to Jacoby Jones, right? So all right. Now speaking of Lamar Jackson, Ravens training camp day one. So it's day one. Not a lot of actions going on, but the biggest news of the day, undoubtedly, is the fact that Lamar Jackson did not practice today. Okay, so Lamar Jackson was sent home today because he was sick. John Harbaugh said that Lamar Jackson started to feel sick yesterday. Continued today. The Ravens sent him home. Now, this is not anything that's been new. We've had plenty of bouts of Lamar Jackson being sick, dealing with illness, things like that. Typically, this has happened, during the season. So he's missed a game or two. Right now, we're getting early on in training camp, right? So, hopefully Lamar Jackson feels better, and maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple days. But I don't think it's anything to really be worried about. So just hope, hey, Lamar Jackson, go home, get some rest. Medicine, whatever you got to do, and Ravens will see you on the field when that time comes, right? So, as far as other injury news, Keaton Mitchell on the pup list from the ACL injury, Disa Isaac with the hamstring injury that he kind of got really in rookie mini camp way back in the start in the beginning of all this, so he's still dealing with that. And TJ Tampa with a sports hernia surgery. Now they're saying that TJ Tampa's injury might look like a 2 to 3 week kind of thing, so he'll be back in the middle of training camp, potentially. So we'll see what happens there, right? So, all right. Now, like I said, as far as what happened on the field, not a lot happened today, but we'll go through a couple of highlights, right? Of just people who are out there, right? So number one on offense, Deontay Hardy, right? Wearing number 3, the guy that would say is probably the most likely candidate to be the Ravens kickoff return man, is actually back practicing, right? So he missed pretty much all of OTAs in this offseason before this point, dealing with I believe his newborn child was sick, right? So he's back now. So I mean, hopefully everything's okay, with his kid, things like that. I don't really know details about that, but I do know details that he is back practicing, right? So that's big news for the Ravens in terms of getting their guy on the field because, I mean, listen, this is new special teams rules. So you want to have him in there because, like I said, I think he is the guy that's going to be penciled in for kick returner at the least, and he's going to have to fight with Tyler Wallace for the punt return job, right? So I'm glad to have him out there. Glad to see him practicing. Like I said, hope everything is good with his personal life. Okay, so as far as offense, another highlight, Devin Leary probably got a lot more snaps today than they probably didn't expect it, due to Lamar Jackson being out. He threw a big time 45-yard pass to Dayton Wade, right? Dayton Wade is a UDFA who has been causing some waves, right? Rookie mini camps, the mini camps before this. I keep hearing his name being mentioned, right? So maybe this is a guy that's a under the radar wide receiver that, when it comes time for preseason games and scrimmages, that we look out for to see if we hear his name. Because, like I said, I've heard Dayton Wade's name plenty of times, right? This is far from the first time I've heard this kid's name. And as far as Devin Leary, this is what he does, right? He has a big arm, he can push the ball down the field. The question is, can he be smarter with the ball? Can he limit interceptions, things like that? But it's only day one of training camp. But, 2 young guys slipping up, big play down the field. That's cool to hear, right? So, all right, now, defensive side of the ball. Eddie Jackson, who the Ravens just signed yesterday, literally, right? He's back. Not back, I'm sorry. He's playing. He's practicing for the Ravens right now. He's wearing number 39, the number that he wore during his first stint with the Bears before he changed over to 4, right? When the rule changes happen and everything like that. Obviously, Zay Flowers is number 4 here, so that's not happening right now. So he was wearing number 39. He's out there practicing. It gives the Ravens that much-needed third safety depth that they were looking for, right? Ravens fans might have been expecting a guy like Justin Simmons to come in. Quandre Diggs. There's plenty of names and options out there that could have came in here. Eddie Jackson to me is not a bad option at all. 15 career interceptions. He's known for having his nose around the football, right? He kind of had a peak of his career, second year in the league, right? Had 6 interceptions, a couple of touchdowns. But 2022, he got back to that form a little bit, had 4 interceptions. Last year, he had 1, right? So, he's been up and down during his career. The Ravens aren't going to depend on him to be out there every single play. This kind of signing gives the Ravens flexibility to move Kyle Hamilton around, right? That's the important part. Kyle Hamilton can do his stuff at safety. He can come down, play the slot a little bit. He's not pigeonholed into just playing safety because the Ravens don't have anybody that they trust in, right? Now, just because Eddie Jackson is here, I'm not going to say they're going to give him the job. I still believe a guy like Darius Washington has a major opportunity to earn snaps as that third safety. Okay, so I'm not writing off Darius Washington by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, all right. So defensive news about what happened on the field. David Ojabo is participating in team drills. This is every year of his career, right? We've gone to having to be hopeful that he can stay healthy throughout the season, right? So now this is year 3 for Ojabo. Same thing, right? So I assume the Ravens are going to bring him along slowly, and we'll see where he goes from there. But the Ravens do need David Ojabo this season, right? They do. Okay. All right. Now, 2 players that are going to be very, very important pieces for the Ravens defense that had good practices today. Marlon Humphrey, multiple pass breakups today when targeted. Marlon Humphrey is a guy that, to me, he got a lot of slack last season for, I'm not exactly sure why. Well, I guess, I'm going to take it back. I know why, right? Marlon Humphrey had bad plays at bad times, right? George Pickens, big touchdown. Was it Puka Nacua that caught the touchdown versus the Rams, or was it Cooper Kupp? I can't remember, but that touchdown that took the game into overtime really should have been an interception for Marlon Humphrey, right? So he had bad plays at big moments, but when he was healthy, which is the big key for Marlon Humphrey, when he was healthy, he was still one of the best quarterbacks in the league to me. All right, so I love the fact that he's out there practicing. John Harbaugh said that Marlon Humphrey's a full go. Great news. All right. Now, Odafe Oweh in the backfield consistently in 11-on-11 drills, which has something that's been a theme throughout this entire offseason, right? Odafe Oweh has been consistently a guy that these reporters are mentioning is in the backfield all day, every day during practice, right? Odafe Oweh has to turn his good pressure numbers into sacks. But anybody that tells you that Odafe Oweh hasn't had a promising start to his career, I think is not being completely truthful, right? Yes, if you want to see the sack numbers climb, but it's not like he's been a bad player, right? I think Chuck Smith working with him has gotten him right, added some more moves to the repertoire, and he's looking like a better player each and every year, right? So this year, hopefully we get those sack numbers that go along with the pressure numbers, because Odafe Oweh could be in line for a bench year, right? And then lastly, Arthur Marlette caught a interception today in, I think it was in 7-on-7 drills. Malik Cunningham bobbled the ball, Arthur Marlette caught it. Arthur Marlette is right place, right time kind of player. A guy that's slot cornerback, right? And I'm happy the Ravens got him back, right? And he seems to always make the right play. He had an unfortunate incident season last year versus the Chiefs. The last play of the game, last play of the Ravens season that was important, ended up on him. But I watched his Ravens Lounge interview. He said he used that play to motivate him and get better at man coverage this season. So we'll see if that pans out. But Arthur Marlette has always been a guy that's making plays. Before this, when the Ravens were doing mini camp stuff like that, he was catching interceptions doing that as well. So Arthur Marlette's a guy that I believe will continue to shine during this training camp process. And man, I'm happy that the Ravens are back. Football is back. Training camp day 1. We're going to try to keep these updates coming daily about what's happening at training camp. Always, man, you guys like the videos, like, comment, share the videos to all the Ravens fans. Hey, people who don't like the Ravens, make them watch it too, right? So, but I'm happy to be back in front of the camera talking about Ravens football. So, thank you guys who did watch and did like the video and, hit the subscribe button as well. But it's Gabriel to Fan TV. I'm out.